So this leads to, we have a bathroom here, our bedroom, my oldest son's bedroom, and then around the corner there is my youngest son's bedroom. There, down there is another vent. I did the exact same style as I did in here. Because trim is on back order, we have not been able to trim out anything here, and we haven't been able to replace the trim down here, so you know, that'll happen one day. We have one more spot here that we need to replace the hardwood floor. We did put in this new light here, and I did get this rug. Although I love the rug itself, I just wish it was slightly more narrow. There was a little bit more hardwood on either side. This amount of space would be fine, but obviously once we put our trim on again, we're going to lose that much. So I don't know what I'll do with this, but I bought under padding for it because I wanted it to be really soft for walking on, and again, just another surface for my son to learn to walk on. And my husband claims it was for my kids because they run down the hall, but he also runs down the hall a lot. So we actually went through and nailed it in. Like, it's literally nailed to the ground. You cannot pull this up. So anyone can run down this hall and the carpet will not slide on the floor and you will not slip and fall. If you do, it is not because of the rug. And then this I actually just finished this morning. So I redid all of our doors, and the reason we decided to do that was because the doors in this house are really heavy duty. They are like literally heavy and just like in really good shape. And for this style door, you're looking at like $200+ at Home Depot for a door that looks this nice, but is probably hollow inside and just not as well built. So I said, why don't we just buy this trim, make it, and then just get new handles for everything. So that's what we did. We bought these new like oil rub bronze handles. We cut these all, nailed them in, painted everything white, and then even the hinges I spray painted oil rub bronze. So I just finished this last one here this morning. So this is our little towel closet. So it's done. This was the first one to get done. Then I did my son's, and then I did ours. They will look a lot better once the newer trim is on. Over here, this is our attic access. I have to talk quietly now because both my kids are sleeping. And I would love to have a light here because you can see it's kind of dull. Like, here's the rest of the hallway and then this. It would be really nice to have a light above here. And then this mirror, the mirror itself actually came with the house, but it was just a mirror on the wall. So we actually stained this wood and framed it out. And I love it. And then you come into the bathroom. So the bathroom is the first major indoor renovation that we've done of like a full room. We've done both the boys' rooms, but it's not an overhaul like this. So I'll hopefully have a picture of what it used to look like to put up for you. But the shower tub was here. It was your basic like 5 foot. So it came to, I think, about here. And this was where the closet was. So the wall itself came like right to the edge of the window. And then the toilet was here. So you were literally sitting on the toilet and your knees were almost touching the wall. This was where the sink was, but it was a longer counter, and the door was narrow. It was only 24 inches wide because the tub came to like here. So you walked in and you had one little narrow strip of space right here to walk through, and that was it. Not to mention, it was really old tiling that had gotten wet. Water had gotten behind the tiling. It was starting to sag. We were like 99% sure there was going to be black mold behind there. Knocked down all the walls. We made everything bigger. We rebuilt it. So this wall was new. Then we made this little alcove. And then this is obviously the back of our new closet, which we figured when you have the door open anyways, you're not going to be using this space for anything. So why not have the closet here? It just seemed to make more sense to us. Probably like 80% done in here. We did wainscoting, like this look all around the bottom, which I love. We still have to do all the caulking. We've done the caulking here. So so you can see it looks really nice. We just hung these one day just to see what they looked like, but we haven't actually secured them yet, so we have to do that. Same with this one for the towels. I have a little picture that's gonna go right up here. So this is what the trim looks like around the door, and this is what it's gonna look like in the hallway too, around the bedroom doors and the bathroom doors. And then the trim along the base here it's so basic, and that's what I wanted. Again, like I just want the flat, clean, super basic style. So this is the vent I was mentioning. It's longer, I forget what it is. I think it's 2x14, and the longest you can get at Home Depot is 2x12. And I wanted a gray one, which was hard enough to find because it's a 2x14. So I ended up getting, I think it was white or brown, I forget. I found one on Amazon that was the cheapest one. I didn't care about the color. I ended up just buying a spray paint and spray painting it. And this vent was over here before, under the window. So obviously it couldn't go there with our tub, so my husband had to re-vent here, which we thought was a good idea anyways, under the towel rack, because it will help dry out our towels. We do have one hook here. Well, we have two, but we're only going to put one up on the back of the door just for extra towel storage. And then we found this unit on Amazon, so we can even keep another towel here. And this is our medicine cabinet, which we did not have before. We just had this like bin in our closet because we needed somewhere high enough to store it that the kids could not reach it. And this is the toilet that we already had. This is really cool, and I'm sorry my toilet's dirty, but this is built in. So this is called a next step toilet seat, and so it's literally like two parts. So you can have this pulled down for when it's your little one using the toilet, or you can put it up and it's actually a magnet, and then it's just your regular toilet seat. That is a squatty potty. It's supposed to help you go to the bathroom easier. You can Google it if you want to learn more about it. This morning I actually ordered just a black bar and like really nice sort of black square pads that are going to go here, because all of our black here is square shaped. So I wanted to continue with that look. So it'll go here. It's a tension rod that's going to go across, and I ordered black curtain hooks. So that's our new shower head. My husband did all this plumbing, and what I really like about this is you can actually move this, so that's really handy. So this is a 6-foot tub. Our old tub was 5 feet, so we have a full 12 inches extra. It's a much bigger tub. If you wanted to have a bath with more than one person, or if you're in with the kids and one of you has to have your back on this side, because this is where you would normally put your back, you can just push that there. And you don't have to worry about getting it like digging into your shoulder or like having to fit in this space or anything like that. So love that. This is another one of my husband's brainchild inventions. It's supposed to be, I showed you in the basement, we have the tankless water heater. His plan is to have that set up so that when you do want to have a bath, you can have it filling from this and that. Or you can have that like as a slow run so the kids can play with it and stuff. Because it does take a long time to fill this bath up. Literally, sometimes I have a bath and I'm almost ready to get out by the time it's done filling. We added this shelf down low for two reasons. One, we wanted the kids to be able to reach stuff, and two, when you're having a bath, we wanted to be able to reach stuff. The only kind of tricky thing is, like, I obviously don't want to leave my razor or anything down there just yet. This is the only good spot we could put this insert, because here behind this wall, besides all the plumbing for this, we also have our vent for, I think, our water that goes out to the roof. So we had no space anywhere to put a little insert. And on this wall is our nook, so we also couldn't build into that wall. So that left us having to build out here, and we couldn't go too deep because this is our exterior wall. So would have loved to have had it completely recessed in without a ledge, but that wasn't going to be possible. So this was a lot of it just took a lot of brain power to figure out how to do this and tile it and get everything to stay and be sturdy, because not only does it need to be able to hold stuff, but you can guarantee your kids are gonna like hang on it to pull themselves up or like put pressure on it. So we needed it to be really sturdy. That was not fun to do. But we tiled everything ourselves. And then this window, we put new trim around. We just have to, you can see where like the screws went in, so we just have to sand that down. And then my husband used really heavy duty caulking and did like a different style. I guess it's like more of like a T style as opposed to, no, I don't know how to explain it, but the way he spread it on basically allows the water to run off a lot better. So we figure with like all the things we put in place that are even just behind this tile for waterproofing, hopefully we won't have any leaks or any issues. And so this here, there's a little outlet in there, and this is going to, he hasn't finished building this, but this is going to be what hooks up to that, to do that like extra fill system. And then we'll just put like a nice little white door over that and it will be covered. We did end up buying a whole new unit. Again, as someone who likes to refinish and repurpose, my original plan was to just use what we already had and just put a new countertop on it. But it just, A, it was going to be a ton of work. B, we didn't like the size. We wanted to make it smaller. And C, I kind of wanted a different style than what we had before. And it's nice and white. And we got this faucet separately. And then we got the faucet and realized it didn't come with the drain, so then we had to go out and buy a drain, and then we couldn't find a black drain, so then we had to buy a white one and spray paint it. And we have our mirror that we got. We ended up getting a new mirror and got it cut to size so that it would go pretty much right across for the whole length of the counter. We are going to trim this out with similar MDF, but again, we don't have any right now and we're waiting, so it will be trimmed out like that. This is a new light here. We also put a new light in here. And then over here is the fan. And we actually, so I showed you how we did our air returns with the like sheet metal and the trim. It's exactly what we're gonna do to cover this fan. We looked into getting a new fan for here because this one's a bit loud, but our ducting for this fan goes straight up to the roof. And all the fans you buy nowadays, most of them seem to have L-shaped ducting, so it wasn't working very well. So we just cleaned this one really well, and it did get a bit quieter once we got all the dust out of there. But over here, we only had the two switches before. We had a light switch and a fan switch, and they were really old. We added another outlet up here. This is you can turn it on if you want, or it is humidity sensing. And that's just our light switch, and it is on a dimmer, which is nice again for having baths. And this was the only plug that was in the bathroom initially, so we obviously kept that. But then we've also in here got another one. Again, with this trim, we nailed all this onto the wall, but we think we have 4 more pieces that need to go on here. That will probably just get siliconed on. Get this all patched up and painted, and then we're pretty much done in here. So this is our master bedroom. So we did, like I said, we finished that door and got sort of a more modern hook for like our house coats and miscellaneous clothes that end up there. We've done the trim in the boys' rooms. We haven't done the trim in our room yet. So this is all the original trim that came with the house, but we've done the light switches and all the outlets. We got curtains for that window, but I wasn't off on my calculations, but I didn't take into account, like you would want the curtains to overlap a little bit when they close as opposed to just meeting. So maybe getting like an extra little panel for each side so that you could fully close them would be nice. These blinds we put here, they were yellow before, and these are the cordless ones, which I have in my boys' rooms as well. So we don't have to worry about them. There's no strangulation risk. You literally just push it up or pull it down with your hand. This is our bed, and it's against a window. We did try having it against this wall when we first moved in, but with our 2 bedside tables, the door didn't open fully. So it does kind of seem like the only way to have the bed in this room is either against this window, maybe against this window. Either way, it's against a window. So I'm thinking, again, if we're going to be here for a number more years, the best bed frame we could probably look at is a wrought iron. I painted the vent cover to just sort of match the floor a bit more. I still love this color that we went with, this blue. I want to get rid of these. So these are like our original bedroom set from like 4 houses ago that we painted and put hardware on. There's like a theme for me, I love to paint and do hardware. So my plan is I want to get rid of these, and I want to get rid of these lamps, and I want to have lamps that are mounted on the wall and bedside tables that are mounted on the wall. They're literally just like a shelf or maybe one drawer. The shelf would be great because it would force us to minimize a bunch of stuff. But we do have like meds and vitamins and like tissue and stuff, so it probably would be nice to have one drawer so that you didn't have to leave all your stuff out on top. So maybe like one drawer with like a mounted light that you could twist like over your bedside table, or maybe like this way if you're trying to read. Or this bed skirt is from 1 bedroom ago, and now that we have this new rug, it's a bit more beigey. It's like a yellowy beige. So I need to get something that's more of like a true grayish beige. Mounted our Dyson here because there's nowhere else on the main floor that's nice to mount it. And again, I'm about like, what is the easiest way for me to vacuum? And for me, that's having it mounted on the main floor, not in the basement. I don't want to have to go up and down a flight of stairs. There's days I vacuum 3 times a day. So that's just, it's not going to work for me if it's on a different floor. Plan would be, so fine, leave that mounted here and maybe get like a really nice tall wicker laundry basket to go in this corner here. So this is our closet. We took the doors off of them because it was like those sliding doors. So one side was always covered with a door. And like, we just need access to our clothes. So we just took it off. But this is our laundry basket. It was literally my husband's from high school, and we just have never upgraded it. If I could get that out of there and have like a really nice one that closes so you don't see the dirty laundry here. My next thought was move our we have 1 suitcase and 1 duffel bag that we use for like our weekend trips. Move those downstairs or up to the loft or something, and put in a smaller dresser right here. This needs to be reconfigured because it doesn't work too well. I have my husband's t-shirts, my long sleeve shirts, my t-shirts, and then his long sleeve shirts. And then this is where we used to have all our pills and our vitamins and stuff. So we've literally just thrown, I think this is like a pair of pants that my husband's thrown up here and some sweaters. We have like old pajamas and bathing suits. I have my weighted blanket up here. These are literally arrows from archery. Now we just threw up here one day so that my kids didn't poke each other's eyes out. If I could put a small dresser in here, then this long dresser could become something much smaller, like maybe even just like 4 small drawers for like underwear and socks and stuff, and pants and shorts could be in here. And this would also take up less room, which would give the illusion of more space. Well, this actually would give us more space, not just an illusion. This is the fireplace I was mentioning that I would like to eventually have in the living room, but for now it sits on here. In the summer we're not using it too much, but it's really nice in the winter. And then we actually, so all the rooms had no lights on the ceilings. They all only had 1 light on 1 wall in each bedroom. So all 3 bedrooms now, my husband's gone in and rewired. So this is where the light was. So he's now put an outlet there. We used to have a TV here. Mount the TV up here. We have a TV mount for it already, and plug it in behind so you don't have cords hanging down. And then if we have like a small dresser underneath, I think that would be really cute. Like he rewired our light over to here, and we got this nice ceiling fan light from Costco. Over here we mounted so this is for the fireplace, and this one is for the fan. This is just some wedding stuff that we put up there. My parents actually had this made for us. Up there, the writing up at the top are the vows I said, and then the writing down at the bottom is the ones my husband said. We wrote our own vows, so that was really nice. And I actually had this made for my husband last year for our 5-year anniversary. It's like a map of the sky above where we got married in 2015. In this bedroom, basically, we would need to redo all the trim. So pull up all the existing trim and put down new trim. And it's literally just decorating. I honestly think if we were going to tackle this room, it would be adding more curtains, potentially putting some curtains here because I think it would make it homier. figuring out what we're going to do about an actual bed because it's just on a frame right now, and then getting new lights and bedside tables, moving a smaller dresser into here, getting a smaller dresser for here, and totally revamping this closet. And List tends to get scared at night, so he likes to have the dog in with him. We just rearranged this. We used to have the bed against this wall, but this just seems to work better. I did actually make these, and then my mom and dad actually made these letters for him, and these. We redid both doors. We've done all the trim around the doors, along the floor. We got new curtains, and he has blinds in here too, but you really don't need both because these are blackout curtains and they work really well. We painted everything. Again, he also had one of those wall lights, so my husband rewired that, and he has the fan with the remote. His room is pretty much done for now, and as he gets a little bit older and sort of decides more what his style is, then I also made this to have all his books up high and he couldn't reach them on his own, and this way he can reach them. And like sometimes I'll come in here, especially at night if he can't sleep. It was Finn's room when we first moved in, so we really didn't have to change much. It was already gray. We did come in and do all of the trim around the window, around the doors. One of his pictures just fell off. I framed his very first piece of artwork, but it just fell, so I do have to stick that back up. So all of our walls are plaster, so instead of screwing stuff into the wall, I just use these 3M like Velcro strips because it's just a lot less work and a lot less mess. These we just got off of Amazon, and the frames I think I got at the dollar store. Again, you can see that's where his light was. He now has the exact same fan and light that my oldest has. This was an old dresser actually from when I was a kid. Made it taller so that when you're standing, because this is always what I wanted for my change table, and he made it so that it was a good height for me because I do tend to have a bad lower back. My parents also made these again. This was a shelf from IKEA that I had at our other house, and we ended up just using it in here as a bookshelf. I don't love it, but it does work because we have so many books, and it keeps them up because my youngest would just go through them and have them all pulled out all the time. He does that in my other son's room as it is. Some curtains, and they're blackout, so we didn't even bother putting blinds in here. And this room is also pretty much done. I don't see us changing anything more, except obviously as my little one gets bigger, replacing this with a bed, getting rid of the feeding chair, and maybe eventually one day getting a different dresser. And I guess the other hack is we have this stool from IKEA, which is like, they're just great because they're pretty cheap, and we put it at the end with our diaper genie on top, just again to limit the amount of bending over you'd have to do to deposit your dirty diaper. So that's been really handy as well. And yeah, that's it.